Today, chess has evolved into this high-tech game with live transmission, computers and worldwide travel. But the first mention of the game goes back to 6 AD to the country of India where it was played as Chaturanga. The rules were slightly different too. The pawns could only move one square even on the initial ranks. The queen could only move one square diagonally. Can you imagine how slow scholars' mate would be? Another rule was if you queen a bishop's pawn, you can only make a bishop. Same for the rook's pawn. The only way to make more queens was to queen the D pawn. Hikaru wouldn't be able to make those 8 queens or knights in Chaturanga for sure. But you see, there was no way to record moves in the 6th century. The first time a chess game was ever recorded happened 8 centuries later in 1475 in the country of Spain. One of the players named Francesco de Castelvi wrote the game as a poem. The poem was called Chess of Love. I hope he wrote the poem for his wife, otherwise he's not getting any dinner tonight. And the game began. So e4 d5, yes, the first game ever recorded was the Scandinavian Defense, the opening which is very rarely played nowadays. After e takes d5, queen takes d5, knight to c3, players even back then understood you have to harass the queen, and the queen goes back all the way to d8. And now white develops bishop c4 pointed towards the weakest point in the opponent camp, f7. And now black plays knight f6, white plays knight to f3, and here black makes a blunder with the move bishop g4. White could have totally just captured on f7, and after king takes f7, knight e5 check, and the bishop will be lost and white would have won a pawn. However, we did not have the chess.com tactics feature during those days, so that's why white was a bit weak in tactics. Instead, he played the move h3, and black this time did not make the mistake and captured the knight. After queen takes f3, black clearly was not in the right frame of mind. Imagine if he had a clue that this game would be covered on a YouTube channel, he might have calculated a little bit more. He played the move e6 and white just gobbled the pawn on b7 for free. Black saves the rook with knight d7, but now knight to b5, rook to c8, and knight takes a7. It's 2 pawns now and things are not looking good for black. Black decides to play knight b6 so that he sacrifices the exchange, but at least the video will not be titled the shortest game ever, and white captures the rook, black takes back, and now he will have to castle as quickly as possible. But white goes for the neck. He plays the move d4, black plays knight d6 attacking the queen on b7, and white gives a check with the bishop to b5. Black takes, white takes, and black blocks with the knight. Black here had the understanding that queen d7 trading queens would be a bad decision, and still here you are exchanging queens when your material down. That's gotta be embarrassing. And now white plays in typical Morphy style, d5, sacking a pawn, opening files towards black's king before he can castle. Black of course is desperate, he has to capture it. Bishop e3, bishop d6, rook to d1, the d5 pawn is hanging. Played the move queen to f6, not in the spirit of the position. And if his spirit is still watching me, buddy, I'm really sorry. I love you, man. You started the game of chess, the game I love so much. Rook to d5, queen g6 now, and the queen attacks the g2 pawn and the c2 pawn. Clearly black is going for counterplay, but now white plays a trap. You know, all those chess coaches telling you not to play any traps, well, you better show them this game, because after bishop f4, black, just like you and I, fell into the trap, captured on f4, and white smiled with his bush-long mustache and captured the knight on d7, and the king suddenly realized, oh my god, I'm screwed. He plays the king to f8, and now queen to d8. It is actually checkmate because the king has no escape squares. This game was magical, but could you imagine if the players in the 6th century could also record their games? That's why the skill of visualization and notation is so important, and you can learn it in 3 minutes if you click right here.